anything goes here, whatever you want to speak about, just one thing, no personal attacks on anyone and no abuses. Nidhi?
Thanks so much, Manika. We're very excited to have this second round of We the Students. And, this is a platform where we would like you to literally be your own voice and feel free to speak on whatever topic you feel passionate about within the limits, of course, that Manika has talked about, but to be free to express yourself in whatever way, you feel that you can, so that you become confident speakers, you become confident about the issues you believe in. And we're so happy to have this batch that's speaking today. These guys have worked hard. They have, just to tell everybody, they have written their own speeches, this is completely their own work. So it takes a lot of courage to stand up even virtually in front of your colleagues and friends and speak like this. So we're just going to call on all of you one by one, and I'll begin by asking Midhaswi to begin with her piece.
Hi everyone, I'm Medhaswi and I'm based in Hyderabad, but my entire life revolves on the internet, just like many of us today. I mean, if you ever looked at 13-year-olds today and thought, wow, I used to look like a potato sack, but how do these kids look like French fries? Well, I bet you're lying if you said you weren't, but hey, welcome to the club. We're seeing a generation growing up on the internet, and their role models are celebrities or influencers, which is very different compared to our way of living back then. And I talk about back then like it was 30 years ago, but to be honest, this entire phenomenon has taken place over the last 7 to 8 years. What has changed so much? Why is everything a trend? Well, I'd say the biggest influencer of our time is media. For decades now, mass media has generally pushed narratives that are best suited for their profits. And with everyone having a smartphone, the rise of social media has led to a growing emphasis on the social image that we need to maintain. And it has become quite easy to build up these false narratives that look pretty to the eye, but they're very difficult to maintain. It doesn't help that movies of this generation also push the same idea, that make it acceptable to live like this. Shows targeted toward kids and teens back then were things like Karishma Ka Karishma, Son Pari, Best of Luck Nikki. But kids these days have shows like Riverdale and Euphoria, which portray high school lives as those that have incredible standards to maintain. The pretty faces played by adults try to tell us that this is how a teenager is supposed to look like, completely erasing the picture of the teenagers with the voice cracks, the pimples, the ill-fitting clothes, and the awkwardly growing bodies. And no matter how much we try, we end up being influenced by these descriptions. I have personally spent hours trying to take the perfect picture, and then even more time went into editing it. And it's honestly the reason why I quit social media. But this trap has engulfed so many. And if you're relating to the things I've been saying, it might be time for a digital detox. This lie we try to live is just another show of social status that we try to achieve while rotting on the inside. Log kya kahenge only gives you stress, anxiety, and self-esteem issues, while fueling jealousy, ruined friendships, and loneliness. And none of those are really good things. According to researchers, plastic surgery for cosmetic reasons has been directly related to spending more hours on social media. To thrive on social media, you try to spend regularly, not repeat outfits, constantly change your accessories, and try to look your best at all times, pulling us into this constant cycle of consumerism. And the more time you spend on these sites, the more these companies gain. I mean, a few weeks ago, a whistleblower from Facebook presented documents that stated that they are aware of the damage they do. They just choose to profit over it. Young girls and their insecurities, hate speech, and algorithms that decide what you see, just to give you dopamine hits and push more advertisements your way. To make things worse, they were planning on rolling out an Instagram for kids. And I wonder what would have happened if that went along. In the end, our lives that we put up treating the world as our stage just end up harming our mental health. And our suffering, it just turns into money banks for many. Is it worth it? No, it isn't. But you can step out of that equation by trying, just trying, to opt out of this illusion being sold to us. Because I honestly believe if the product is free, you are the product. Thank you.
Fantastic. Absolutely fantastic, Madhasvi. Very, very well done. I have to sort of just tell you, I love French fries. And I was thinking a lot about them when you were speaking. But really, guys, choose your own course. As she very rightly said, लोगों का काम है कहना. लोग तो हमेशा कहेंगे. Do what you want to do. Choose your own path. And that was wonderful.
Thank you so much.
Great work, Madhusri. Really great work, and good that you also brought in recent events and tied them up in the subject that you chose. That's really excellent because it shows that you're aware of what's going on around you and you've put everything into context. So that's excellent.
Thank you.
Okay. Who should our next speaker be? Should I do an eeny, meeny, miny, mo? Okay, Christina is there. Christina, go ahead with yours.
Sure, ma'am. Thank you. Hey, everyone. My name is Christina, and I'm studying my third year of engineering in GITAM, Bangalore. Now, before I start talking about what I came here to say, I want you all to picture something. Your favorite Netflix show has come back for season 3, and you just rush to your room because you want to start binge watching the entire series before some naysayer gives you a spoiler that just ruins the entire show. I know, been there. And then you realize that you have an assignment that you need to submit at this week end. And then you're like, hey, you know what? I'm just going to do it tomorrow because we have time, right? And so that day ends. The next day, when you sit down to tackle your assignment, you realize it's a friend's birthday and you're like, I'm going to do this tomorrow. And so on and so on and so on until you reach the night before the deadline. And now you're just stressed, burning the midnight oil, regretting every postponement you ever did. And that, my friends, is called procrastination. And for those of you who are hearing the word for the very first time, don't fret. According to the Cambridge Dictionary, procrastination is the act of delaying something that must be done, but is often delayed because it is boring and unpleasant. We've all been there, we've all done that. In fact, I was guilty of being a class A procrastinator. Most of us in this generation, or Gen Z as we like to call ourselves, pride ourselves in putting the pro in procrastination. But why? Why do we glorify it so much? What we don't realize is that what we're glorifying so much can cause us huge issues tomorrow. Studies have shown that people who tend to procrastinate have issues like anxiety, mental health issues, and worse job performances and academic performances. Sounds scary, doesn't it? And now, if you're thinking, okay, am I really exaggerating all of this? No, I'm not. Look it up on the internet. You'll know I'm right. Okay. And if you're like, I want to kick this habit to the curb because, better time management, keep listening. So, what I want to talk about today is to understand and overcome procrastination. And I have just 6 very simple, easy to follow tips for you. Tip number 1 is to have a place or a work den, as I call it, to isolate yourself with no distractions so you can start working ASAP. This means no more mom bringing snacks or no more you getting up because you couldn't find a charger. Keep everything that you need right next to you so that it limits your chances of getting distracted. Okay, now that you're all settled in, time for tip number 2. Tip number 2 is to have yourself divide the task that you have into mini tasks so that it makes it easier for you to follow and to work upon. Now that you do that, once you start tackling your work, you find that your confidence grows with every step that you take and every mini milestone that you accomplish. Okay, after all of this, you're wondering, okay, I've done this, but I want to take a break. I'm really overworked. Okay, I'll tell you something that I've done before so many times, which has caused me so many problems. It's called spending way too much time on social media in the name of a 10-minute break. What do I mean by that? Picture this, you're on social media, just scrolling through the reels, and then you look at the time and you realize you've spent 45 minutes watching people dance to whatever latest trending song is there on Instagram. And now you're like panicking, full on panicking, because you just have to finish all your work in a much smaller time frame. Okay, to stop all of this, there's something called having an accountable reward system. What does that mean? Having an accountable reward system involves having a parent or a friend keep checking on you so that you stick to the time that you've kept for yourself and you're like, hey, okay, my break is done, I need to start working. This keeps you, tethered to whatever that you need to do. It actually makes things easier. Might be a little difficult in the beginning because come on, who enjoys giving away your phone or whatever you're reading to your parent? Makes you feel like a kid again. But hey, it helps. And now, fourthly, one of the main reasons that we humans procrastinate is because we seek instant gratification. That's why we're so much more inclined to click that next button episode on Netflix than to actually study. Now, I've said this before and I'll say it again. Think of yourself, in like a future sense, and just visualize yourself. If you see yourself in like, in the future, just shaking your head and regretting that moment where you decided to still watch YouTube or Netflix or whatever you were doing instead of actually getting your work done, it's time for you to close your distractions and get your work done ASAP. Because trust me, you will not regret getting your work done, putting your all into it instead of just in the last minute doing something and submitting whatever you could have instead of giving it your best. Now, tip number 5 is to make your goals less intimidating for yourself. Being mentally prepared to tackle whatever you want to do is a huge part of overcoming procrastination. Instead of being vague and saying, hey, I'll just study math tonight, mentally prepare yourself to say, okay, I'm going to do algebra. That makes it easier for you to focus and get your work done. Now, this is a lot of information, but sometimes we just keep on making steps and doing a lot of planning to further procrastinate what we should have just done in the beginning, that is to jump right in. So that would be my final tip for you. If you are someone who takes planning as a way to procrastinate, jump right in, go ahead and start working, and everything else might just fall into place because you can only go up from there. Progress, progress, and progress. Thank you.
Well done, Christina. Interesting topic, useful insights. And I think I could just feel everybody reevaluating their long Dashera weekend, saying, okay, we're not going to binge, we're not going to sleep. Let's just figure out what work we're going to get through. But well done.
Thank you.
Well done, Christina, and good that you broke things down into very simple points, suggestions that your friends and classmates can follow. And you're a model student, so very good. But sometimes it's good to binge watch that Netflix show. Sometimes.
Agreed, ma'am.
So sometimes just chill on Netflix, as they say. Great, Christina. Great to hear from you. Shiva is here. Shiva, would you go next, please?
Yes, sure. When I talk about holy books, the general perception that everyone has is that it is related to spirituality, isn't it? Today, I'm here to change that perception. Well, it's true, but holy books tell us a lot more than just spirituality. Good evening to all the dignitaries present here. This is Shiva from GITAM University, Vizag. Today, I'm here to talk about the importance of reading holy books. Now, reading holy books isn't restricted to a particular class of people who believe in God. Anyone can read them, as it is not related to a specific religion. The life lessons or the knowledge of leading life is in our holy books like Bhagavad Gita, Quran, or Bible. There are various positive aspects of reading, understanding, and implementing the holy books. Holy books contain certain principles which, when followed, would develop our personality as an individual. Qualities like patience and perseverance develop within us. We would imbibe good qualities, and there would also be a good impact on our attitude. It is very important for us to have a good attitude or a positive attitude, as it creates a really good vibe around us. Ultimately, the overall character changes. Though we develop our character, there is still a lot of stuff around that would affect us. Sometimes we tend to forget the character that we have built. There might be several reasons for that, like it could be frustration, influence of surrounding people, influence of movies, and many more. It's typical for humans to get influenced by the stuff that we see, hear, or read. Today, we do have a few web series and movies which depict the false culture of a country. They're not reality, they're just meant for our entertainment. Holy books teach us how to be in reality. So, in order to protect ourselves and avoid the influence of such negativity, it is important for us to read the holy books as they always motivate us to be on the right path. We will get an understanding of how to respond in different scenarios which we encounter in our life. In this modern world, we are so obsessed with our career, and also there's a lot of competition around. We all want to achieve success in our life and we strive to succeed, but we got to put in a lot of efforts. Sometimes we lead a very stressful life. We feel so pressurized with our work by overthinking about the results. This stress will have a great impact on our mental health. When the mental health gets disturbed due to the stress and repeated contemplation of negative thoughts, then the person might go through anxiety, depression, and some other mental illness. Now, holy books help us to avoid the mental illness. They provide mental support and gives peace to our mind. Holy books constantly motivate us to perform our prescribed duties. All we gotta do is simply fulfill our responsibilities. That's all. The result isn't in our hands, but what we can do is just our work. We are complicating our life with unnecessary stress by overthinking. If we keep reading the holy books, then we would become more compassionate and empathetic. Holy books always inspire us to do good to others and some sort of social service. We face a lot of distractions today during our work, right? It's because we are unable to control our mind, which shows that we do not have a strong willpower. As students, I'm pretty sure most of us might have experience with this. We open our books to study, and then there would be a notification on the phone. That's it. We get diverted. Holy books stress a lot on controlling the mind and senses. So if we constantly engage ourselves into reading such books, then our subconscious mind will get tuned about controlling the senses. Whenever we get deviated, we would remember what our primary duty is. Then we do not feel like wasting our time and we will get back to our job. We all need motivation at some point in our life, and holy books give us a new spirit to move on during ups and downs of life. There are a lot of successful people who read the holy books. There would be a new change that would begin within us. Now, for the change to occur, just mere reading would not be sufficient. It is also important for us to implement what we read. Now, implementing 100% of the preachings of holy books would definitely be a tough road to hoe, but we should try to implement as much as we can. As we students are the future of this country, we need to make sure that we give rise to an ideal society rich in principles. Thank you so much. Thank you, everyone.
Well done, Shiva. And you know, in so many ways, I have to say that what Shiva has spoken about epitomizes the We the Students topic and the platform, sorry, because this is really a place where you can come and speak what you want to say. And this is so different from what one would expect or what, you know, a typical mainstay topic would be, but very well done, Shiva.
Yeah, Shiva, it's a very unusual choice of topic, and you know, from your audition right to your speaking today, you stuck to it. So well done for doing that, and you know, for giving your argument about why this is important to you. So good on you for sticking to your topic and your beliefs. That's really good.
Thank you, ma'am.
Okay, let's move on to our next speaker today. Please give a round of applause for the speakers so far. Jasbir is next. Jasbir, over to you.
Good evening, ma'am. I hope I'm audible because my connection is going a little slow today.
You are.
Okay, thank you, ma'am. So let's begin. One of the worst journeys back home was the exodus of migrant workers in India at the beginning of the COVID-19 pandemic. They chose to go on an adventurous journey back home. No, they were driven. It's so hard to believe that a country which has launched so many satellites into space and boasts of military might failed 93% of the total working population.
I think we have a problem with Jasbir's internet connection.
Why
Let's come back to Jasbir. Jasbir, if you can try and move around a bit and test it, we'll come back to you. It's okay. It happens. And maybe, if you can just move your location, if someone can just message Jasbir on her phone,
I'll do that.
that would be nice.
Yeah.
And then we can come back to her. And until then, Sumati, will you do your piece? I don't think Jasbir knows yet.
Yes.
Yeah, even the picture is freezing, unfortunately. This happens on TV also. Nothing to worry. Sumati, it's over to you.
Good evening, everyone. I'm Sumati from GITAM, Hyderabad. Firstly, before starting, I would like to appreciate all the other participants who have come up with their thoughts on such wonderful topics and made this evening more beautiful. So, on this note, I would be covering the topic of the session is about family. I know it sounds a bit quirky, but please bear with me. So, whenever I start talking about family, I remember one incident that happened in my childhood, which has literally moved me. So my sister was 3 years elder to me. She got hurt while she was playing and she started crying. So my mom sat beside her and I was around 8 months old. Then my aunt, who wanted to go to her mom's place, she took me along with her without informing anyone in the house. And then after some time, when my mom found out that I was not there in the house, boom, the tension started. She asked the neighbors, she asked the watchman, and she searched every nook and corner of the apartment. And she asked few nearby people who knew my aunt well. But answer from everywhere was, we didn't find her. And the tension has increased 100 times more. And after searching so many places, she has finally reached to my aunt's place, and there she saw me. As soon as she saw me, she immediately took me into her arms and she started crying. I was around 8 months old. I couldn't understand what was happening. But as soon as I grew elder and I knew about this incident, I literally felt that such kind of love, care, and affection, is it possible to get somewhere else from the world? Never. I would only get this from my family. Family is a link to a past and a bridge to our future. Generally, when we want to pursue our passion as our career, like a career in music or a career towards the art, some families does not accept it easily because they know that the path is difficult, and even after a lot of struggle, success is not guaranteed. But we don't understand all these things. We just get angry at them. We feel that they're discouraging us. They don't want us to get succeeded. But the hidden fact is that family cannot see us struggling or suffering. They want us to lead a comfortable and a happy life. But realizing this small thing makes so many lives beautiful. While on the other hand, there are families who happily agree their children's wishes and gives their complete support and encouragement to them. Practically, both are right at their own places. Generally, in movies, the word family is being portrayed very much dramatically. The family is always happy, they are joint, it's a big joint family, and the hero loves his family no matter what the situation is. Even if the situation comes that he's kicked out of his family, he still continues to love his family. Now, let's get back to the reality. We have fights in our family, we have arguments, we have disagreements. We don't like someone else giving a decision about us or about our career, and it's completely fine because families are not meant to be perfect. They are just meant to be united. Family is a place where you will be loved and you will learn to love others. Before lockdown, whenever I see a good recipe on a YouTube, I just feel, oh, this is a 5-minute recipe, and that would be easy. So I asked my mom to make it for my lunch, and she used to happily agree for it. And whenever I asked my father for pocket money, even he used to happily agree and give it. But when this lockdown has started, and I went to kitchen, and I've seen what my mom had to go through, what the hard work she had to do to make that 5-minute recipe. I've seen my father working whole day hard just to make sure that the family is happy and contented. I've seen him working so hard to just earn that 100 rupees, which he used to give me very easily as soon as I asked for a pocket money. These situations made me realize that things are not as easy as I thought they were. Little things take a lot of effort. And on this note, I would like to mention that families would never take the bad decisions that we regret upon. Also, if this lockdown wasn't there, probably I would have never understood the hard work and the sacrifice my family had to do in order to fulfill my wishes. So I would consider this lockdown as a boon in disguise. And as I was mentioning, family would never take decisions for which we regret. Before joining Geetam, I was a bit skeptical to which course should I join, which college should I join, should I pursue degree or engineering. But my family suggested me to take CSC in GITAM. I was not sure about this decision at the beginning, but after 3 years, now I feel that this is the best decision of my life because I have got such a great platform at GITAM to express my views, to talk about something which I really like. So I feel this is the best decision of my life. Also, after all being said and done, we generally keep running around time, running around money. We don't give much time to our family. Like we hardly find time to spend with them. So to all the participants who are hearing me right now, I insist, please spend some time with your family. Talk about your work, talk about your thoughts, share about your day, how it happened and what's going on in your life. Because yesterday is already gone and today is almost over and tomorrow is never promised. So we shouldn't be regretted in the future that we didn't talk with our family that day about the incident which is worth remembering. So the moral of the story is family is a place where life begins and love never ends. Thank you for giving me such opportunity.
Thank you, Sumati. Very, very heartwarming. And truly, it's the little things that matter. Family is something that you realize their importance when they're not around, when you're far away from them. And like our own little families, I just want to say that we at GITAM are a big family. And, we really do appreciate each and every one of you and do miss you when you're not around. But moving on to the next person on the platform today. Nidhi?
Yeah, well done, Sumati. Really, I mean, once again, clearly it's a topic to feel very strongly about. And I think so many of us sitting here echo those feelings. So I think you speak for a lot of people when you talk about how important family is to you. So I think as we, especially after dealing with COVID and everything, we realize the importance of families even more. So thanks very much for that. Okay, Jasbir says her internet is good now. So Jasbir, let's give it another shot. No, I think it's frozen.
Yeah, I think.
Okay. Can I make a suggestion that perhaps Jasbir can look in the next one, in the next session, and she can look at another location completely. It'll have to be maybe on campus or somewhere else where she has a proper internet connection, because this is a recurring problem where she is right now. So let's try and get Jasbir to join us for next month's session with a proper connection, because it won't be fair for her to do it and then have to stop again. In the middle. So let's get Kritika. Kritika, I think, is our final speaker today. Kritika, go ahead.
Am I audible now?
Yes, you are.
Thank you so much. All right. Good afternoon, good evening, everybody, and thank you so much for this opportunity, Geetam. So let me start off this session with a small story that happened a couple of weeks ago. My mom comes to me and tells me that she's tired. And my first reaction to her is just, jaake so jao. Because, I mean, lockdown has been just that thing. You're tired, just sleep at any time of the day. She says, no, she's tired. And that's when I ask her, what happened? And she just says, I'm tired of everything. I don't feel like doing anything these days. I used to love going out to the market every now and then. Every day almost she went out to the market to get something or the other. Now it's just this monotonous lifestyle. And she just says, I'm tired. Haven't we all faced this in the past 1.5 years where we're just so tired, so stressed about everything around us, despite being in one of the most comfortable surroundings of the world, like our home. No place could get like comfortable than that. And here we are dealing with stress every day. What is stress? Stress is like it's just a 6-letter word, which has become a constant companion in such a long time now that it can actually arise through a lot of different forms. Like it can take the form of your workload, grief, loss, anything that you're worried about, you have a presentation, oh my God, I don't know what do I do, you're nervous about it, you are actually stressed about it. There was a very recent study by the BBC which said that stress has become an intellectual performance enhancer. And then there was another continuation in a very short, like a very small font, which said to a point only. How do we know that we've reached that point in our life? Like, how do you know that, oh my God, it's the point where stress has stopped becoming a performance enhancer and now it's just messing around with your brain? Stress actually has physical signs. It shows you that you're going through it. And one of the major signs is you become forgetful. You have mood swings around you. It's just that nothing interests you anymore. A thing you once enjoyed now becomes like a burden on your shoulders. I can give you a very recent example. There was an interview that was so important to me, but I missed it because the whole day of mine was only classes and more meetings. And as soon as I went for a break, the interview completely slipped off my mind and I ended up missing that interview. That is what happens when you're under stress. You miss something that is so important to you and you don't realize it until it has happened to you. There are a lot of things, dealing with stress, I would say, is very difficult to call. For some people, it definitely is. Some people go through a lot. And there isn't anything that we can, we can't judge anybody's stress or judge anybody's story behind it. And I know I'm making it sound like it's really difficult to get over with things. But there are ways which you can get over with. I believe in 3 ways, which I have read a lot, wanting to implement, but as you know, you see around YouTube hall of how to organize your little notebook very pretty, and then we end up doing nothing. That's the phase I'm going through now. Like, I try my level best to say follow these 3 tips and I feel they're working. And the 3 tips are organizing, relaxing, and trying to be communicative. What is communication? Like, how am I supposed to know when to communicate, what to communicate? So there has been this thing happening that I'm fighting with my best friend a lot, like over everything. I'm just getting into a fight. And I don't know why am I fighting, because am I grumpy the whole day? Am I just, gussa utarna type of emotion happening out there? We end up fighting so much that it has become like, okay, fine, don't even talk to me. All you have to do is fight. Because that's when communication happens. Stress can cause miscommunication. You don't know what to say to the other person when you're under stress. So you end up saying something which you might regret later, like, speaking to your mom rudely when you're playing a game and you're losing. You're like, "Jao na mummy," you just say that, and then you later realize, oh my God, I shouldn't have said her that way. That is what happens. So try communicating with somebody who you are assured of will understand. Even if they don't, try putting on your point. Like, hi, I'm under stress right now. Hi, I'm a little under the heat. Let's just talk a little while later. I might not be in the right frame of mind. Organization. Why is organization so important? There's like so much on YouTube on how to organize everything in your life, but how easy is it to follow? Let's start with the most simple trick of organizing what you do in a day. Like, what do you do in a day? You attend classes, you have to go to attend a meeting, you need to submit an assignment, prioritize works that you have. And if you feel like you are most productive in that time of a day, do not give yourself a break there. Like, between your classes, you get like 1 free period and you still are in the work mode. Just complete your assignment then and there itself so that you don't have to put it on for later. As Christina mentioned, procrastination is real and actually can become a cause of stress. You keep procrastinating everything at the end of the day, and there you are, stressed and doing nothing in the end because it doesn't let you do anything. The last point is relaxing. Honestly, we forgot the meaning of relaxing. There were days when Saturday and Sundays was considered to be relaxed, but now it's just like, oh my God, wait, I have this work. Oh my God, yeah, let's do a meeting tomorrow. It's just meetings and more meetings, and you don't feel relaxed any longer. Take a break here. Take a break, like a genuine break, to leave all of your phones and devices away. Do whatever you want to. Sit still, stare at the wall. It has proven to be working, believe me. We don't give ourselves time enough to actually understand that me time here is actually very important to us. How often have you been feeling like, okay, fine, I'm just sitting on my sofa today with my phone in hand and I don't have work to do about it? Like, how often has this happened? Like, very rarely it happens to me, at least, when I'm sitting and I'm like, oh, ye kaam yaad aa gaya, baad mein kar lungi. That is just the normal feeling these days. I'm just sitting, baad mein kar lungi. That is what happens. And then at the end of the day, it's all on my head. To quote Olivia Rodrigo, very famous American singer, in the end of the day, is if you, in a very twisted way, though this quote is in a very twisted way, but it's related to her song, that if it doesn't make you happy or healthy, it ain't good for you, honestly. If a work is not making you happy or healthy, seriously, it's high time you leave that aside, or at least don't waste your time into thinking that you will achieve something if that does not make you happy. So give yourself time, do not stress out, take breaks, and thank you all.
Thank you, Kritika.
Thank you so much.
Well done. And so aptly put. This, guys, take your time. Everything's okay. And everything's going to be all right. There is nothing worth the terrible stress or pressure you put on yourself. Decide what your own limits are and go according to that. I think that concludes it today. Jasbir, like we said,
We're going to try once, Manika, because
okay, you will. Okay,
yeah, because
okay.
apparently she's managed to get a stable connection. So we just try once more. Kritika, I just want to say I really liked the subject, and I also really liked the way in which you presented it, and it is it really worked and came together well. And I think again what I like about all the subjects everyone has chosen today is that they're all relatable to all of us in different ways. So you guys have really spoken from the heart, and that's absolutely terrific. So well done, Kritika. Jasbir, let's try once more, okay?
Yes,
and
ma'am.
don't worry if the internet plays up. It's not in your control. We can try it again. So give it a shot.
Yeah. First of all, I'm sorry for the inconvenience, and I hope I'm audible now.
Yes, you are.
Okay, thank God. Okay, let's make another beginning. One of the worst journeys back home was the exodus of migrant workers in India at the beginning of the COVID-19 pandemic. They chose to go on an adventurous journey back home. No, they were driven by compulsion, the compulsion of survival. It's so hard to believe that a country which has launched so many satellites into space and boasts of military might failed 93% of the total working population of the nation, which actually builds us. Despite there being a few loopholes in the laws benefiting migrant workers in the country, it's hard to believe that such loopholes could cause an exodus. So what caused the exodus? What drove it? After a little retrospection by common man, it can be understood as to what drove the exodus was apathy. Apathy on the part of the government. Apathy that stems from an attitude of indifference towards poverty. The government did not even maintain the data reflecting how many migrant workers died during the exodus, when a website run by 4 individuals had such data. Moreover, the government failed to foresee the plight of the migrant workers who had no other alternative but to return to their hometowns in the absence of their livelihood. Even a simple trip to the marketplace entails meticulous planning. Then how could a nationwide lockdown miss an exodus? Only after certain sections of the opposition began to lobby in favor of construction workers did the government, instead of planned action, resort to apathetic reaction of arranging transport, plagued by confusion over the sponsoring of fares and apathetic, undignified distribution of food and water over the journey. When the government of the day could exhibit its strength by arranging 4,450 Shramik special trains for the migrant workers to reach their destinations, only after the hue and cry, the question arises as to why only after the hue and cry? Even as our migrant brothers and sisters died in road and rail mishaps on their deadly journeys back home, the government and the opposition squabbled relentlessly over who should be credited for arranging the transport. A recent report of the Economic Times tells us that 10% of the total migrant workforce hasn't reported back to work after the first and second COVID-19 lockdowns, and this suggests a clear loss of faith in the economic development goals so flamboyantly sold by the government of the day. So why was there such apathy? Why such indifference in the first place? Could there be a more valid reason than the lack of education and awareness in the rule and the resultant presence of an attitude of impunity in the ruler? Doesn't it appear that the government of the day perpetuates its own existence by sustaining ignorance and disguised illiteracy in the citizens? Hence, what is the use of having numerous laws for the benefit of the migrant workers when the very beneficiaries are uninformed. It's like having 5-star food prepared for the poor and never inviting them to even taste it. We need to concentrate on development. Development is not how technologically advanced we are. It's how much of this we manage to bring on the faces and in the hearts of the poor. We need to eradicate the poor. No, we need to eradicate poverty, not the poor. And that is the true reflection of socialism. Thank you.
Thank you, Jasbir. Another very moving topic. And for so many of us who had the privilege of staying at home, had the privilege of our family around us, that, you know, we could stay, we didn't have to worry about food, where our next meal came from. Just seeing those pictures of millions of migrants trying to get home, young kids, mothers, it was just awful. And I think you just put it so well, that really the job of those who govern us is not to sort of, you know, look at nuclear missiles or massive infrastructure or break down buildings and put up new ones, but it is to ensure that there is a smile, you know, for all those who really, really need it. And it could have been so planned so much better. So thank you for that.
Yeah, and it's really good to see you choose a topic like this. You know, I mean, it's something that, you know, it's not necessarily personal in that way, but it's something that has had a larger impact on the country and people, not you personally maybe, but others around you. And so therefore, you know, it was very thoughtful and, you know, well done. You've come a long way, Jasbir, from your audition to today, where you really presented it well and did a great job. So well done to all of you, actually. It was really very good.
No, absolutely, everyone. Super job done. And I do want to bring in Joel at this point. I know Manali and he work with you very closely. This is something that we're doing along with the incredible Student Life team. And Joel and I have now been talking about doing We the Speaker on different campuses physically, since, you know, we are now getting back to work, getting back on campus. And that's a huge aspect of it. Manali has already put out a form for all those who want to join. Please do. We would also love to hear from you on how you would like to see this platform change, what we can do with it. You can add to it, make it better. We would love to hear from you and have your feedback. So please do write to us and tell us what you think. Joel?
Absolutely. I think this is one of the best platforms that any student can get to understand how a message has to be crafted, to get mentored by people who have done this for a long time, who can actually shape not just the way you speak, but also the way you think, so that you can use that every time you try and make or convince someone or get your point across. I think that's a very important foundational experience for students to have. And I think what has happened here is that big kudos to the first two cohorts of the We the students who have been doing an amazing job. I think we have more and more people who are interested, and I think creating this community of people who know how to express themselves, who know how to articulate their thoughts, even if you can not just be the people who participate in this, but we are looking at you as the people who will inspire others. So I think big round of applause to all of you who have done amazingly well today. And for all of you who are watching, and if you're interested in being a part of this, may I call it a movement now, please hop on board, fill the form, let us know, and join this group, join this club. Welcome to this club. Thank you so much.
So thank you, everyone, and happy holidays. Have a wonderful Dashera. As they say, may all good conquer all evil. So lovely. I mean, it's always wonderful talking to all of you, and it's great to have these evenings. Looking forward to many, many more. Thank you so much.
Bye, guys.
Bye.
Thank you, everyone.
Thank you, everyone.